I've always known that there's enormous benefit in people gathering together in person. That's the reason that I started Robin's Cafe, is building a community hub where people could gather. It's the reason that I started Responsive Conference as an event where people could get together and talk about the future of work. These days at Zander Media, we're so in our silos, working on video production for clients, working on design for clients, working on social media, that I decided, actually years ago, but we've really started to implement this year, that on a trimester basis, so 3 times a year, getting together as a team for multiple days at an offsite and spending time talking about ourselves, talking about the organization, and talking about where we want to go really makes a big difference in the quality of work that we're able to do and the time and the experience that we have as a team working together. This episode of Ask RPZ is about just that, the Zander Media Team Retreat. The purpose of a team retreat in really any kind of business, but particularly at Zander Media, is to create the experience of gelling, of coming together so that when times are tough, when we're dealing with difficult clients, when we're hiring like crazy or have to let somebody go, we have the trust among ourselves as people, independent of the work, that we can weather the tough times and grow together through the growth times. Because the backbone is really strong, because the structure of the organization and the trust within the organization is really strong. While we talk about lots of tactics and strategies and what's next within any given team retreat, the real bedrock of it is solidifying the personal human relationships that make an organization tick. Especially for a company like ours that is so deep in the weeds of client projects so much of the time, a team retreat is a chance for the members of an organization to come together and spend time as humans, talking, of course, about the work of an organization, but even more so, finding the common bonds that hold us together and keep us wanting to move forward. An organization is made up of people, and in order for any organization to work well in times of stress, it's important for them to also spend time in times of ease and talk about what's going well, what's not, and what's ahead in the future. My goal with Zander Media has always been for us to outperform given the size that we are, for us to punch above our weight class. And that comes of a team that works really well together. As much as it's a big investment in time and financial and other resources to bring a team from all over the country together for multiple consecutive days, several times a year, I've always had the instinct that doing so will dramatically improve the longevity and long-term growth potential of our business. One of my big takeaways from the most recent Zander Media team retreat is that a big part of my job as CEO is to hyper-communicate to my team. I already do a good job of this through one-on-ones and Slack and phone calls, but even more, that if I let people on the team know the inner workings of the organization, that they can feel more secure and confident in the trajectory of the company. Some of the things that I intend to keep the same at Zander Media as a result of the team retreat are our incredible culture, are the care and grace that members of the team offer to each other in times of stress and in times of abundance. That quality of care that each of us brings to the other is so essential to the longevity and the health of the organization and the individuals who work within it. Some other learnings that were just reinforced by the team retreat are, we've only recently really implemented a management structure where now we have a head of video, we have a head of client success, we're building out heads of social media and graphic design. And that structure in the organization provides us, all of us, the ability to get the support we need, get feedback, know who to turn to in times of stress, when we need a question answered, when there's a client issue. Perhaps my biggest takeaway from the team retreat that I want to change as we're going forward, that we've already taken steps to change, is this idea of predictability. As any small company does when it gets started, Zander Media has been very unpredictable. We haven't had systems in place, and we're in the middle of building those systems. But this phrase predictability really echoed throughout the team retreat as something that everybody craved, including me, of what can we expect, when can we expect it by, and from whom can we expect it. And so we've begun already implementing systems for tracking what is predictable, what is not, and how do we improve that as we move forward. I think the biggest mistake people make in running team retreats is focusing only on the business and having meeting after meeting, difficult conversation after difficult conversation, and not prioritizing joy and quality of time spent with your peers. For me, because I come from a circus background and a performing arts background, I like to build in interactivity. I like to get people engaged, doing activities, spending time with others in their organization. That's the key to creating engagement, is don't just focus on the work, focus on the people. I've long believed that culture is set from the top. And so one of my goals as CEO at Zander Media is to model the kinds of behavior that I want and hope for from my team. And that means being true about how I'm doing in my personal life as well as in my professional life. That means being authentic when I've made a mistake, owning that mistake and apologizing. At a team retreat, that's even more of an opportunity to be even more myself, to talk about my failures and my successes, to celebrate other people for what's going well and what they're learning, and to call people out on areas where maybe they have not been showing up to the fullness of their potential. But by modeling with kindness that degree of authenticity, that degree of this is who I am today, this is what I'm striving to become, I give the opportunity for my team to do the same. What's next at Zander Media? So it's really easy to talk about the big exciting projects that we have coming up. We're filming in LA on a plane set. We're taking on social media management for a circus. There's a lot that's coming that's new, that is deeply exciting. But I think my true response is actually a little bit more boring than that. It's more of the same. We're doing a really good job. And my number one goal is to build in the predictability and the sustainability so that as we continue to grow, we do so at pace. We do so in a way that serves the organization and the people who work within it. If you have questions about marketing, about sales, about building company culture, about telling your story, leave a comment, let me know. We'll do another episode answering your questions soon. Thanks so much for listening.